World Food Day highlights food security in the face of El Niño. Also, World Mental Health Day observed, and Koiari Nagavas advanced through the quarterfinals of the Fairfax Nines.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
This is Friday's news. Good evening and thanks for your company. Today, the 16th of October, is World Food Day, a day ratified by the United Nations through the Food and Agriculture Organization. The theme for World Food Day 2015 is Social Protection and Agriculture, which aims to highlight the role social protection plays in reducing chronic food insecurity and poverty by ensuring direct access to food or the means to buy food. United Nations Resident Coordinator in Papua New Guinea, Himanshu Roy Trivedi, says the day has much significance in the country as an estimated 2.4 million people are currently suffering from droughts and frost-like conditions.
Established 35 years ago by the United Nations General Assembly, the goal of World Food Day was to raise public awareness about the world's hunger challenges and encourage people to take action in the fight against hunger. United Nations Resident Coordinator in PNG, Himanshu Roy Trivedi, says this year the day has fallen at a significant time of the world's development planning.
World Food Day is a really important celebration, and this year, of course, it falls immediately after the global leaders have just agreed a set of the new Sustainable Development Goals, 17 goals that will shape the international development agenda for the next 30 years in the world.
While many of us may not realize how important our food security is, the idea behind commemorating World Food Day is to make people the world over realize that food and being able to access food to eat has important links to everything we do.
It's something that is linked to a whole series of other things in the way in which human beings live in the world today. So this year, one of the things that we're seeing is that, we have seen in the past 35 years, since this day has been celebrated, quite a lot of progress in ending hunger and undernutrition worldwide.
Right now, the issue of food and the ability to secure food is a challenge that is facing up to 2.4 million of our people, who have fallen victim to prolonged drought and frost periods.
And in Papua New Guinea, of course, this falls at a very important time. It falls at a time when we have quite severe drought and frost that has impacted on large parts of the country. We have at the moment up to 2.4 million people who are starting to suffer as a result of the drought and the frost, who are struggling with food security and having enough water to drink and so on.
Neville Choi, National EMTV News.
And as Morobe marks World Food Day with the rest of the country, our lay reporter Colin Barlai went to Lay Market to speak to those who are feeling the pinch as the drought drags on into its 6th month.
This is Lay's main market. It is the main supplier for garden food to all Lay residents. It is also a central market that attracts sellers from Morobe's outer districts who come in to market their produce. Betty Eramias is a seller from Morobe's Huengulf district. She told us the food she produces has decreased following the current dry spell.
Now I must be plus looking plus because I go and have because banana dry. So I plus in plus banana and go and tap because cargo no planty banana and kaka bogareno planty.
As Morobe marked World Food Day today, we were again reminded of the delicate balance between good weather spurring steady food production and times like these when a drought is affecting food sources. Mena Tofford of Markham District says the last 4 months has been hard.
Na sampla mi pla planti longe mi pla angre na stap longe. Online ni angre longe time oli no sa garden all garden lo mountain e mo angre na stap longe. Sena dislata sole meki mi pla man lo peles mi pla painim hatru lo helpi mi pla.
Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Lay.
Well, every year on October 10, World Mental Health Day is observed. This year, the World Federation for Mental Health chose the theme Dignity in Mental Health. The theme highlights the fact that thousands of people with mental health conditions around the world are deprived of their human rights.
In a small but significant gathering, a number of key stakeholders, including the Family Support Group, marked the World Mental Health Day. Through the different presentations, it was revealed that all too often, people with mental disorders and their families are discriminated against, stigmatized and marginalized. Poor quality of health care due to a lack of qualified health professionals adds to these violations. President of the PNG Psychiatric Association, Dr. Uma Ambi, stressed the importance of more awareness and coordinated approach. This will be made possible through a national mental health policy. Discussions have been held to put useful thoughts together for the policy.
Some of the key factors is not only having meetings, but we had to do a lot of workshops and also to do a lot of promotions and awareness.
Senior stateswoman Dame Carol Kidu, who, once as a member of parliament, held the portfolio of Minister for Community Development, agreed that more awareness is needed on understanding the social issues and the link to mental health.
Emotional, social well-being and clinical mental health issues need to be given a much higher priority in Papua New Guinea.
This couple is working on setting up a foundation to create awareness on the condition of their daughter. They spoke of their experiences about the ignorance of the community and the struggles they face as caregivers. They want to give back to the community through their experience, and through the foundation, they hope to meet and share with other parents just like them. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Now, while we may be feeling the effects of El Niño on land, there's every chance that climate change is also affecting plants in the ocean. In recent weeks, the popular beachfront of Port Moresby's Ella Beach has been covered with seaweed that's taken on a peculiar colour. MTV's Vasinata Yama reports.
According to some mothers who always clean up at the beach in the mornings and at noon, the seaweeds have completely covered the sand. It's an unusual sight and makes it look like carpet rolled over sand. They said that usually when seaweeds are washed ashore, it's fewer and has a greenish-brown color. But this time, it is a lime green in color and triples the usual heap. Some people have their own beliefs.
Dolphin tetol na woklo kisim odisla na go salim na okay oloklo kilim no solwara na go salim na woklo planti seaweed woklo pull up odisla sende.
As for Bernard Suruman, a marine biologist, this is what he had to say.
Our initial reaction would be, at this time of the year, we have the strong wind and the drought. So the strong wind, together with the drought, would have caused, first of all, maybe it has made the current has actually uprooted most of those weeds.
According to the Office of Climate Change, this sort of activity could happen naturally or otherwise. Sometimes it may occur following the change in weather pattern and the temperature change, or the seaweed has reached its normal height. However, the heavy deposit can also mean pollution caused by developments going on at sea. When MTV interviewed local fishermen off the camera, they explained that the depositing of seaweeds signifies that the sea surface is getting warmer, which allows the fish to swim into the deeper cold area to breed. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
A legal policy framework to guide developers in the mine, oil and petroleum sector will be developed to protect land from environmental impact. The waste management policy will be developed specifically for mines operating in Papua New Guinea. This set of new laws will regulate the management of waste in a more suitable and environmentally friendly way. MTV's Fabian Akalits with tonight's special report.
Papua New Guinea has no waste management law, a guide for mine operators and developers operating within Papua New Guinea's jurisdiction. Since the first mine in Papua New Guinea, the famous Panguna mine in the Dan North Solomons province, began its operation, there has never been a law on waste management and the disposal of mine tailings. On June 2013, EMTV queried this particular issue, on which Chairman of the Law Reform Commission, Dr. Eric Koa, said since mining activities began in the 70s, only guidelines have been applied to protect the environment and was to change. The process in enacting this law to regulate mining tailing activities was discussed earlier in 2013 that reviewed laws relating to management and disposals. Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management Department Secretary Cedric Himata admits there has been no law on waste management and only guidelines were used.
We don't have that, but we've been relying on our Environment Act to help us guide ourselves as to how we do our carry out our mining operations.
A concern was raised by this media how landowners' rights and losses will be protected once this law is effective.
You can return it back to a state where people can continue to live in it. So that's really the ultimate objective of this exercise. And
the Memorandum of Understanding signed today in Port Moresby for the development of a waste management policy is the outcome of many consultation meetings. A deal was signed between Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management Department, Conservation Environment Protection Authority, formerly known as the Environment and Conservation Department, Mineral Resources Authority and JICA to develop a policy framework for waste management on the disposal of tailings. Reviews by the Mineral Policy and Geohazard Management Department showed PNG lacked comprehensive policies and regulation frameworks to control increasing mining activities in the country, resulting in considerable amount of mine pollution affecting surrounding environments in mining areas.
Companies are able to adopt best available technologies. So whatever the latest technologies with respect to managing our waste, monitoring our waste, that must be adopted.
PNG currently has 9 operating mines, and these mines have their fair share of contribution in terms of mine waste, whether generated from the mine or industrial waste from fuel that needs to be managed well. And people, particularly landowners, have raised these concerns over time, like in the Ramuniko in Madang, Okteri in Western, and the list goes on. And Panguna is a learning experience. Conservation Environment Protection Authority Managing Director Ganta Joku said the development of this new law is a new beginning for authorities to operate in a sustainable and well-management environment.
It is to show the community that they can have confidence in the way we are regulating the mining projects, the way we collect our data, the way we analyze them, and the way we respond to issues that may arise.
Environment is a priority, and JICA is partnering with PNG to control mine waste management in the country. Chief Representative Shigeru Shugiyama said technical cooperation will ensure development of PNG's strategic waste management law for the mining sector was economically stable and environmentally responsible.
The project would provide valuable input into PNG's environmental management and contribute to ensuring the people of PNG to be able to have sustainable environment and development.
Himata told EMTV News the 5-year project will see the development of this new law, building capacity and adopting technologies that will improve protection. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
A ship owner arrested for sailing an unseaworthy ship, 2 shot dead in car theft, and a solid Morobe block in the current political maneuvering. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. Good to have you back with National EMTV News. Ship owners are again being reminded to abide by the safety standards of the National Maritime Safety Authority. This call follows another arrest of owner of Vanmark Shipping Limited, Michael Chan. National Maritime Safety Authority has been clamping down on unseaworthy ships out at sea, as part of its duty to ensure safety in PNG waters.
The National Maritime Safety Authority investigation team arrested and charged the owner and captain of Venmark Shipping Limited in East New Britain today. The owner Michael Chen and captain Daniel Colawan were charged under Section 331 of the Criminal Code for taking an unseaworthy ship out to sea. They were released on 2,000 kina bail each and will appear before the Rabaul District Court on Monday. National Maritime Safety Authority Manager for Maritime Standards and Compliance, Joseph Piawan, says the ship Manman Ginut, carrying 1,000 passengers, ran aground at Crocodile Point in Kendrian, Gloucester in the East New Britain province last month. The passengers on board the ship were rescued by villagers in the area. Piawan says ship owners continued to be negligent by not following maritime laws. He says the wind condition was high at the time and the captain was negligent by taking the ship out to sea. Joseph Piawan urged ship owners to ensure their ship is seaworthy and must have a qualified crew to sail the ship. It is part of NMSA's normal operation to crack down on vessel owners who continue to breach maritime safety standards. So far, they have arrested 4 in East New Britain alone. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
An attempt by a group of men to hijack a car at a residence in Port Moresby has left 2 dead. The 2 deceased were shot by the owner of the vehicle after they tailed his car into the private residence. One died on the spot while the other was shot in the leg and then chopped around the neck by angry bystanders. Police have confirmed the incident, stating investigations have begun. Other suspects fled after seeing their counterparts falling to the ground. City police have sounded a warning to the public to be cautious of an organized car theft syndicate operating in the city. A statement yesterday by Morobe Governor Kelly Naru calling on Morobe MPs to band together as a political bloc has sent shockwaves through Morobe's political ranks, causing some discomfort. Governor Naru says he also dispelled suggestions that he is vying for the PM's post, saying he is content with being governor for Morobe, but wants 2 more Morobe MPs to be given key ministries. A call openly backed by Lay MP Lajaya Koza. The statement comes amidst political maneuvering by various players.
Today, the Morobe governor reinforced his message sent out late yesterday and in the same breath corrected a media report suggesting that he was vying for the Prime Minister's post.
I am actually not interested in becoming Prime Minister, or for that matter, Deputy Prime Minister, or for that matter, the Speaker, or even a Minister in the government. That's basically because I am essentially content with my mandated position as the #1 servant of the people of Morobe.
But as he fended off those suggestions, he's also made it clear that at least 2 of Morobe's 10 MPs should be given important ministries in government. Currently, key positions in government include the Speaker, Theo Zurenok, Fisheries, Mao Zemming, who's also the Deputy Leader of the PNC, and Housing, Paul Ezekiel. The Vice Ministry for Education is also held by another Morobean, Giswat Siniwin. There is no official indication as yet whether those in the PNC-led coalition will respond positively to the call by Morobe Governor Kelly Naru. While the governor stopped short of mentioning names, Lay MP Lujaya Koza didn't hold back.
Come on, give us 4 ministries. We want the national planning and the works. National planning, if Sam Basil doesn't put his hand up to be PM, he can be national planning minister, thank you. Works, Giswat Siniwin. The in-between, let fisheries keep fisheries. Housing minister can keep his housing ministry.
Kabum MP Bob Dadai has also been approached, but he has been somewhat cautious about his public statements.
We, the members of the PNC, must sit together, talk about this, and then we meet with the other 3 MPs. We come together and then we can talk about how we can bring the concerns of this province to the attention of our government.
we basically want to have dialogue with any group that we will collaborate with to get into government.
What the governor hopes to do is to leverage the political muscle to drive home a few points. And the first is to keep the GST generated in Morobe within Morobe. And the second is to make government realize that a province far larger than the NCD should receive the same, if not more, support in terms of infrastructure support and funding.
We're adding and topping up Port Moresby's GST, and Port Moresby is running away with its development, and we are, for crying out aloud, still trying to fix up our interconnectivity from the districts into Lae, our city.
Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
Road management and funding are a big problem in Papua New Guinea. This was revealed in a research paper by the Australian National University in partnership with the National Research Institute. The research also revealed that road management organisations are marginalised due to lack of government support, which is evident in the deterioration of many national highways and roads in the country.
The research paper gave an insight into the poor state and limited reach of road networks in the country. It described it as one of the greatest barriers to economic development faced in Papua New Guinea. The author of the research, Matthew Donnan, spoke of how the road conditions of the country's national highways and roads have gone from bad to worse in the last 40 years. He explained that roads are a public service, and if roads are not maintained, then the government is not playing its part.
Road management, including maintenance, has, as a result, traditionally been a government responsibility. So the answer to the question of why maintenance has been suboptimal, we really need to look at why governments haven't performed that task adequately.
The paper talked about why it is important for planning roads and managing it. Donnan says lack of impact planning and funding are also contributing factors to the deteriorating state of roads throughout PNG.
The national road network deteriorated after independence due to lack of funding. So in 2007, only 35% of national roads were in good condition, meaning that they were passable by a two-wheel drive vehicle in wet weather.
There are approximately 30,000 kilometers of roads in PNG. Only 9,000 kilometers is considered important for the national economy. The remaining 21,000 kilometers are local roads and are managed by provincial governments. But road networks and links remains a big problem for PNG.
It found that road access is negatively correlated with the incidence of poverty. So in other words, regions where poverty is most concentrated tend to be regions with very poor access to transport services.
Director of the National Research Institute, Dr. Charles Yala, in supporting the paper, said the government is not doing enough to maintain roads throughout the country. Yala said there must be standards and planning of how roads are being built.
The main contribution of this report is to ignite a national debate on the need for an efficient, functioning and operating national road network which will stimulate productive investment and employment opportunity in this country.
Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
Well, landowners of the Buka Airport have agreed to work closely with the National Airports Corporation for the safety of the travelling public. A meeting with the local chiefs discussed consequences and a way forward that would allow operations to continue into Buka. EMTV's Fabian Akalitz reports.
Chiefs of Yeti Village, the customary land where the Buka Airport is located, made a resolution to work closely with the National Airports Corporation on issues concerning compensation and projects. The chiefs held a meeting with NAC Chief Operating Officer Sylvester Kennedy following a media report that Buka Airport was unsafe and risky. Mr. Kennedy explained safety and security were critical, and NAC as a legal corporation will work closely with landowners and other aviation authorities to address this ongoing problem.
All in our interest, Thomas. All in our concern. We got 20 airports, 19 airports,
It was noted that during the meeting, after roles and functions were identified, chiefs began to understand that showed lack of awareness by the successive governments. The chiefs agreed that fencing and extension of the runway will proceed and all compensation claims will be made through the Lands Department. Awareness on the airport will be carried out in the villages that will also look on boundaries.
Subcontract or use partnership on them can lead in way on crime.
We have called on the autonomous Bougainville government to be a partner to address airport issues. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
The development of a methanol production facility in Papua New Guinea may soon be realized, with Kumul Petroleum entering into a shareholder agreement with Japanese petrochemical company Sojitz Corporation. The deal, inked in Tokyo today by Kumul Petroleum Manager Director Wapu Song, will enable the establishment of PNG Methanol Industry Limited to undertake feasibility studies on the methanol project, as well as conduct initial business activities. Within this agreement, Kumul Petroleum and Sojitz have agreed to finalize the feasibility studies, start negotiation for gas availability and pricing, financing, and start the engineering work for the plant. The shareholder signing in Tokyo follows an earlier MOU in April this year by the two companies. Well, apart from the trade talks and all the high-level political engagement in Japan, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill had the opportunity to share PNG culture. Prime Minister O'Neill said PNG and Japan value the rich cultures and diverse lifestyles of their people. He made this statement following the PNG delegation's visit to the Tokyo Fuji Art Museum late yesterday.
Despite the busy schedule, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and the government delegation made it a priority to share the rich PNG culture at the Tokyo Art Museum. PM O'Neill put aside all the serious business of the country to learn the Japanese culture and spoke of PNG's diverse cultures. O'Neill said it is important to embrace the identity and the culture of a nation, but it was not all the Japanese culture in the museum. The Tokyo Art Museum also hosts some of the world's most expensive paintings, which did impress Prime Minister O'Neill.
A very lovely collection.
Paintings from the 14th, 16th and 18th century attracted the government delegation, but it was this colorful rose painting that made the Prime Minister for a stop. Mr. O'Neill was accompanied by his wife, Foreign Affairs Minister Rembik Pato, Planning Minister Charles Abel, Trade and Commerce Minister Richard Maru, and other government officials. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was awarded the honorary doctorate by the Soka University in Japan. Upon receiving, PM O'Neill said the award is for PNG to expand the student exchange program and assemble students and academics of Soka and PNG universities in the coming years. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
And now let's check out the finance news. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.3455 in the interbank market today. And at Bank South Pacific, our Kina was trading at $0.3380, $0.4578 Australian dollars, $0.2937 euro, and 39.86 Japanese yen. Taking a look at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee and cocoa closed the day higher, while copper closed the day lower. Palm oil and crude oil closed lower as well, while copper closed the day higher. And finally, on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 217 points lower, the ASX closed at 35 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed at 33 points higher. Among stories after this break, an expatriate arrested for pornography and Hospital Paramount Foundation's fight against cancer. Stay tuned for those stories and more. Thanks for your company and welcome back to National EMTV News. An expatriate of New Zealand origin was arrested in Lorengau last month for producing and exhibiting pornographic material of a local adult man. Police reports state the expatriate was employed as the crushing manager at the Polongo Quarry along the Manus Highway when the incidents occurred. He was cited under the Summary Offences Act for producing an article of a naked man which grossly offended accepted standards of decency. The local man, in his early 50s, reported the incident to local authorities the next day and told police that after consuming liquor with the expatriate, he was coerced into removing his clothing and dancing whilst the expatriate took pictures with a digital camera. The accused was released on a 7,000 kina bail and is currently awaiting a court appearance. The first of its kind initiative in Papua New Guinea to shave, trim or dye your hair for cancer has received overwhelming support since its launching on Tuesday. The campaign, aimed at raising funds for the Children's Cancer Ward at Port Moresby's General Hospital, now has the support of the sporting fraternity PNG Pukpuks, Port Moresby Football Club, rugby league representatives, and is also supported by Australian Wallaby halfback Will Genia.
Cancer is now a disease that has been headlined as one of the biggest killers in Papua New Guinea. In PNG alone, oral and cervical cancers are ranked the highest in the world. The ABC reported in 2012 that breast cancer had increased from affecting a population of 8.49% to 46.5%. Cervical cancer grew from a whopping 69.8% to 96.7%, and oral cancer from 26.6% to 41.7%. And those are the rates between the years of 2000 to 2004. While the health sector is still addressing the frightening incline in these statistics, there are a group of people in Papua New Guinea and abroad who have now voluntarily pledged their support to a cause that is in dire need of funding and facilities. These are the faces of the newly launched campaign to fight cancer in Papua New Guinea.
Hi, I'm Adrian.
Hey, I'm Mariani.
And I'm Radley. That was Radley.
With sports identified worldwide as a strong vehicle for change and awareness, Australian Wallaby and Papua New Guinean-born Will Genia leads the campaign in a quest to reduce the statistics.
Cancer is the third biggest killer in Papua New Guinea. Among cancers, cervical cancer is the first, followed by breast cancer among the women population in Papua New Guinea. Jump on board our campaign to fight cancer with the Hospital Poroman Foundation, and be bold and be brave, shave and trim or dye your hair for cancer.
With the backing of homegrown talent in the likes of Billy Toria, Manu Gais and Titi Gigamat, the PNG Pukpuks are also backing the cause. But it doesn't stop there. She's got the voice of an angel and has been regarded as one of the best female artists in PNG. Mariani Masani makes for an excellent ambassador, with cancer being something so close to her heart.
A lot of people may not know, but I lost my father to cancer about a year ago from stomach cancer. So I'm really sensitive about this issue, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this. This is definitely why I'm doing it. It's because of my dad.
The campaign will be officially launched in Port Moresby this evening, while the event is set for the 12th of December and will see Papua New Guineans from all walks of life register to shave, trim or dye their hair to raise funds for the Children's Cancer Ward at the Port Moresby General Hospital. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV News.
Great initiative for cancer awareness in Papua New Guinea. Well, True Guy Sports is coming up next. The quarterfinals of the Fairfax Nines, also cricket legends Big Bash and the launch of the Gabba Champion Shield. Stay with us for those stories.
True Guy Sports.
Thanks for joining me with True Guy Sports. Over to Rugby League. The Koiari Nagavas tipped the Avianamo brothers 16 points to 10 in the quarterfinals of the Fairfax Nines at the Murray Barracks Oval this afternoon. And new faces to the tournament, the West Papua Warriors bowed out after a 6-0 defeat from the experienced Royals. MTV's Rafaela Calare reports.
In an entertaining round-robin Fairfax Nines tournament over the past weeks has drawn to a close this afternoon. Kicking off the first knockout round features were the Koiari Nagavas up against the Avanaimo brothers. They went out all guns blazing on Avanaimo, punching through middle defense, picking up tiring forwards before crossing over the line to post points on the board. The score was level at 10-all, but Nagavas soon extended the lead to 18 points on the Huta. Pom fireballs were instrumental throughout the duration of the game. It was the Pom DY who proved their might, knocking out fireballs by 16 points to 14. It was the clash of the titans between the Rovanama and the famous freeway bumpers, who locked horns in the most entertaining match of the afternoon. Rovanama, however, came out victors, thumping the Bumpers 20 points to 16. In the women's clash, NCD will go up against the Barbarians in the grand final playoff for the cup, while Connie Storms will take on Royals in the second and third playoff for the plate, and Pom DY and themselves the bowl finishing 5th. Rafaela Kaure, National EMTV Sports.
Well, still on Rugby League and on the Fairfax 9 comp, and in the women's grand finale, the Barbarians downed Port Moresby DY 12 points to 4 to be crowned champions. And in the women's second place playoffs, Royals hammered Connacht Storms 28 points to 0. In the men's division grand finale, Royals were trailing Koiari Nagavas 8 points to 14 at halftime. However, the Royals came back strong in the second half to snatch victory from Nagavas by 22 points to 18. To cricket, the IBS Warriors have taken out the Pacific MMI Don't Drink and Drive Big Bash, defeating the Pure Water Piranhas in an entertaining final at the Amini Park. Led by New Zealander Mark Greatbatch, the Warriors' strong first innings performance saw them win by a comfortable 58 runs.
While a bottom order collapse saw them struggling, a good early batting performance saw the side in yellow race to 120 halfway through the innings. Australian cricket legend Brad Hodge hit a superb 78 runs to place his team in a respectable position, but it wasn't enough to see them through.
One of the things that's, Greg and Papua New Guinea cricket are doing here is trying to provide a first-class facility, and I think it's well on the way. I think, the plans that I've seen inside look excellent. The turf nets are up and running, the turf wicket, ground looks excellent. So I think they're really good things to see, and I think that the cricketers themselves are very exciting, and they love the game of cricket, and you can see the passion that they want to present.
Australian women's coach and former Test cricketer Catherine Fitzpatrick, who had played with the PMMA Marlins, said she was impressed with the level of cricket being played.
Talent squad, which is our young female cricketers up in Brisbane, and the girls, your national side, came and played. So we were really impressed by their passion for the game and enthusiasm. So have seen them play a bit. Hadn't seen much of the boys, but equally as impressed by their determination, and they've got some pretty raw skills. And we've already seen it out the back here today that they've been ability to hit the ball as long as anyone else. So fairly.
The PMMI Legends Big Bash is Cricket PNG's major contribution to the Don't Drink and Drive campaign, which has been running since 2009. Ultimately, it fell to Mark Greatbatch, the New Zealander, as he led his side, the IBS Warriors, to a very comfortable 58-run victory. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
Well, Cricket PNG has launched the Gabba Championship Shield, which is a new first-class cricket comp in Papua New Guinea in association with Gabba Sporting Products. Due to the unavailability of turf cricket pitches, Cricket PNG is excited to relaunch the National Cricket Championship in partnership with Gabba.
Previously known as the Constantino Shield and Hebao Shield, the Gabba Champion Shield will bring together the best male and female cricketers from around PNG in T20, 50 over and 2-day cricket formats. The cricket community in PNG has been craving for competition for 2 years, following 2 years of absence with the unavailability of cricket turf pitches. And it is exciting to be able to see top cricketers in the country back in action.
The players, I'm sure they are looking forward to the competition that is going to be starting by next week. They're looking forward. Teams have been finalized. They'll be announced officially in the coming few days as part of the Big Bash events as well.
The Gabba Champion Shield will also be perfect preparation for both the Lewas and Barramundis as they prepare for international tournaments.
To make this championship happen again, every year we produce Barramundis and Lewas in this championship, and to this championship to be alive again with Gabba coming on board to support this very important competition.
With such a competition in place, this will create a good avenue for upcoming talent within PNG to be recognized and will elevate Cricket PNG to greater heights. Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
Well, True Guy Sports continues after this break with Capital Rugby Union and an update on the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. I'll be back with the details after this break.
True Kai Sports.
Good to have you back with True Kai Sports. Well, Capital Rugby Union has been around for over a decade, but the standard of competition in recent years has declined due to a number of issues such as facilities and administration. However, with the appointment of a new technical management team, the CRU is set to be heading in the right direction.
Really passionate about it. Rugby has lost its course and rugby has gone astray because we do not have a junior development program, we do not have the structure that's coming through. And you all as will agree with me on the fact that rugby has not gone to the stage which has gone because we don't have a structure in place and the junior development has gone way offline. And while we implement this junior development program, the proposal which I'm sure.
Well, Papua New Guinea has been given the approval to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. After months of discussion and uncertainty, FIFA has finally given the green light. This announcement was made today by OFC President David Chung and Sports Minister Justin Chichenko.
The World Cup was supposed to be hosted in Kokopo, Lae and Port Moresby, but that is not the case now as all the matches will be held in Port Moresby. This is due to the limited time available to fix up playing fields and stadiums in the other provinces.
I'm happy to announce that we met the criteria. We have fulfilled what FIFA requires. It's all in this documented documents over here. And also we have chosen all the games will be in Moresby, which will benefits all the people of Moresby.
A total of 16 countries from around the world will be coming to Port Moresby. Minister for Sports Justin Chichenko said this will also give our country international exposure.
The promotion that the country will get through soccer will be telecast throughout the world and throughout those 16 countries. So the exposure we get from the investment that the government's putting in with FIFA is priceless.
The 4 proposed stadiums are the National Football Stadium, Sir Hubert Murray Stadium, Sir John Guy Stadium and the Bisini Sports Complex. A document detailing FIFA stadium standards was presented to Sports Foundation CEO Peter Tsiamalili Jr., highlighting plans for the 4 venues and a detailed summary on how to bring them up to FIFA's minimum requirements. Proud NCD Governor Powes Pakop was there as well to express his joy at the announcement of the tournament to be held in the city.
I'm sure we'll be ready come next year, November. The people in the city, I would like to call on them to support this decision. I hope we will get the FIFA approval. I'm confident that we will get FIFA approval. And Port Moresby, once again, will rise to the occasion. We've shown it before, and we will show it again.
PNG's capital city has gone through major changes over the years. After hosting the 15 Pacific Games, we now look forward to the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup next year. Then we'll co-host the 2017 Rugby World Cup before APAC in 2018. Elijah Levent, National EMTV Sports.
Well, True Guy Sports wraps up on their notes. Stay tuned. We have the weather details that's coming up after the break.
True Guy Sports. True Kai Sports.
And now let's take a quick look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Its southern region, all centers relatively fine. In Momase, Lae City to look forward to cloudy weather. In the New Guinea Islands, all centers to look forward to fine weather except Buka, cloudy weather. And lastly, in the Highlands region, all centers to look forward to low, cloudy weather. And now a recap of our main stories tonight before we go. World Food Day highlights food security in the face of El Niño. Also, World Mental Health Day observed. And Koiari Nagavas advanced through the quarterfinals of the Fairfax 9, but lose to Royals in the final. Well, that wraps up the bulletin this Friday. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Tokana Hasavi Jr. You have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Good night.